Hey guys, Marsh with the Gravity Project here, and this video is going to be on Malicenia, the second Distortion boss, and just kind of some of the mechanics, how you should be approaching it, and all that stuff. So this Distortion boss is actually much more of a challenge than the last one. Like I said about, Cariolis and Operation Isabella hard mode, all that stuff. All those instances were basically introductory instances with no mechanics, any of that kind of stuff. They weren't too difficult because the game wanted you to get a better feel for the combat and kind of get some better gear before you had to dive into this stuff. So I'm kind of going to explain the things to look for, what you should be doing, and then that'll be all. I'll just let you watch with some music in the background or whatever, and yeah. So I wouldn't advise coming in here with anything less than like 50 combat superiority. So most of you are actually at that right now. Surprisingly, a lot of you took my advice and have been doing your Flavius Lab missions and have your combat superiority higher than mine at this point. Mine is 70%. And a lot of you guys are in the 80s and at the cap right now, which is like 88%. So that is a huge feat. That is a nice merit. Congrats to you guys. Good job on that. So yep, 50% is probably a good mark. And then that's pretty much it. 50% combat superiority. Obviously you want to be as high prestige as possible, probably no less than 150k ish. That just ensures that you have a health stat that's decent enough that you won't be getting completely decimated from some of the harder hitting stuff in here. So basically you fight Malicenia until he, I'm not even sure the gender of this boss, comes into the middle of the room just like Cariolis used to do. And once it is in the very center of that platform, it will spawn these kind of white mounds, these rocks that you have to stand on. So the whole room becomes a very hard-hitting dot, and if you're not on one of these white rocks that just appeared, you're going to get hit extremely hard. So having divine intervention, stuff like that gives you a shield is really helpful for these kind of things. But so once you get onto the rock, you can press X to pelt with rocks, and then you can tap square repeatedly to throw the rocks. There's actually a little blue indicator that lets you see where you would be throwing the rock. It's kind of hard to see. You just kind of have to look for it. So two things about this. When you're going to the rocks, one, you don't want to be standing directly on top of it, because when it does pop up, it'll actually push you back into the field and you'll get damaged until you get back up on top of it. So you want to stand next to it but not right on top of it. And then once it's fully out of the ground, that's when you get up onto it. Another thing is, if you do not press X to pelt with rocks, then you can just do damage normally, and a few people from your group can pelt him with rocks to get his shield off, and you can keep doing damage. That's probably the most effective way to do it. But if you do press X to start pelting him with rocks, don't press X again to leave the rocks, because if you do press X again to leave the rocks, you've technically put your character in a position where even though you're standing on it physically, the game is not registering that. So you're basically standing in the dot field once you press that. So that's just something that you obviously do not want to do. You're going to get yourself killed. Yeah, so just be leery of that. So next, the boss has kind of an ad phase, so it'll spawn ads and all that. You just want to obviously kill those ads, and then there's these little triffids, the ones that look like little flowers. They're just kind of dancing. They're all long, and they have like one big flower petal on top of their head. One of those triffids will have a spark on its head, and rather than trying to kill it and pick up the spark, just run up to that one that has the spark and tap X on it and pick it up. If you kill it, it won't actually drop the spark. It'll just jump to another ad, and then you have to run up to that ad and press X. So if you kill it, you'll never actually be able to get the spark. It'll just keep jumping around the room. So that is that. Actually, that is pretty much all the mechanics for this one. Again, not too difficult, but the stuff in here does hit much harder, and you do have to pay a little bit more attention. So that is basically that. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm Mars with the Gravity Project. Like, comment, rate, subscribe. I'm actually going to start a stream at around 8 p.m. like 20 or 30 minutes from now, probably like 15 minutes after this video goes up, of the avatar. We're going to try to run the avatar on stream and get it done. So that will be that for this video. Hopefully it's helped. Like I said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.